Good morning, traders. It is 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on Monday, the 16th of May, 2022. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This is episode number 2234. This morning, the overall picture was mild risk off. It really is. It's pretty much neutral now, or mixed, really. We have had just an outstanding bounce from the low. As I was doing my homework yesterday, it did look like across the board the short side was developing pretty well, and it did continue lower as I was sleeping. But here we've had pretty decent bounce up across the indices. So we've pretty much closed up the large gaps we were coming into today, and it's looking like the market's pretty much going to be trading sideways. The big piece of news, the big thing, the big risk overhang here that's the market is focused on is China. China released some really poor industrial production retail sales numbers. China continues to be cited as the key risk factor for many major companies in the U.S. This is a huge problem. And the thing with this is that it is getting a lot of attention, but the expectation is that as the lockdown gets removed and production gets back online, there's likely to be a pretty big response in the indices in the U.S. stock market and actually global markets. So that's the big one. Not much else to say in terms of what is out there in terms of risk overhang, but I do want to take a little bit of time to discuss what's ahead for the week since it's Monday. Today, pretty much everything's behind us. We've got Fed's Williams speaking right now. We do get some net long-term tick flows later in the session, and the Bank of England monetary policy report hearings at 10 a.m. But going forward for the week, we have claimant count out of Great Britain tomorrow, as well as retail sales out of the U.S. Fed's Powell speaks at 2 p.m. tomorrow. That's going to be significant. And GDP growth out of Japan. On Wednesday, we're looking for the inflation rate out of Great Britain, the same for Canada. And then housing starts out of the U.S., building permits out of the U.S., and balance trade out of Japan. Thursday, we get U.S. existing home sales, GfK consumer confidence out of Great Britain, and the inflation rate out of Japan, and retail sales out of Great Britain on Friday, and that wraps up the week. So there are quite a few releases here, but number-wise or scheduled event-wise, I think most of it's behind us. So that's where that stands. We talked on Friday quite a bit, so just in our quick review segment here, I didn't want to pull up and regurgitate what I said on Friday, but we did talk about the high probability we could see the market was bouncing higher. We talked on Thursday about how the market's lows were being chiseled out with more and more effort by sellers, and it's kind of abating. The selling's abating. Friday we came in and we were opening above, and we talked about the potential for a test of the prior range, 61.75, and so on and so forth. And again, I don't want to regurgitate all that, but let's take a look at where we are, looking at what has happened here. If you look across on TPO charts at 4040, we have the high of the session today is 4042, and 4042 is right here. Okay, this is a from last week. Earlier in the week, last Wednesday, we had a high up there in the day session. We've got multiple value area highs in this area, and we're holding this price in the overnight session so far. No surprise there. Friday opened, it tested the high of Thursday at 61.75 and bounced back up. I spent a little bit of time talking about, well, if it gets into the range and it's not able to get above the 61.75 and hold, and we get a weak retest, then we're looking for it to run to 37, to run down into the 3,900 next, and then it could go as far as 38.84, 38.80 for the sell scenario. The buy scenario is as what happened here. Retest the prior range down into 61.75 and then push higher. And you can see that we finished right on top of this really prominent high distribution area in the 40.15 or so. Settlement on Fridays at 40.19. We've got the market back into balance here. So we've poked below this area. And we've finished higher. It looks relatively done to the downside for now. So I'm expecting this to kind of start working itself back towards the 4,200 and 4,220 more specifically. Really interesting relative delta on Friday. If we look at Friday's relative delta, we see here that the market opened and the delta was really led by small lots. And look at the participation by the very large lots. These are 100 lots or higher on the order, and so that's what's coming across and being reported. And it looks to me like there was just no real participation by the very large lots on this rally higher. So we opened up and we pretty much had large lots and small lots participating throughout the session. There was no real large orders, which is, again, 100 lots in one order, whether reassembled or just as a single tick. 100 lots or better. These guys were asleep on Friday. Just didn't participate in this in the prices that went higher. So far today, here's what we've got for today's session. Let's scroll back a little bit. So far today, it's been a mixed bag. We've got the very large lots buying a little bit after the sell-off, and then we have them steady. You could see that they're holding steady, the dashed yellow line. Small lots selling, large lots, generally large lots and sold. Small lots are on opposite sides, and the volumes in favor of the large lots here, and it seems to be positive, although it's coming off. So overall, this is speaking of a relatively stationary type of trade. Let's take a look at what happened on Friday. Friday, again, we opened out of range. We opened at 70.75. We tested up. We put in an opening swing high at 76.75. Came right down into 59.50. If you recall, Friday's high is this green line, 61.75. Very orderly bounce. Largest rotation of the session at that point. Now we're looking long only. Given that bounce, this is the first clue or the first trigger that we're looking long. Problem is, it's a little bit early in the session. So we're stalking pullbacks, looking for mid pullbacks, VWAP pullbacks. We got a VWAP pullback, and then from there, it just started to take off. Pretty clear consolidations on Friday with pretty concise breaks. Those rotations are pretty aggressive to the upside. This rotation here being 22 points in that one rotation, the IB's put in, and we really hold steady above the that's the sessions VWAP and mid and so on. until later in the session when we fall through in the afternoon and then retest from below. This here was relatively noisy, normal variation day, pretty sideways trading throughout the afternoon with these whipsaws. Not much to gain from, not much to pick up from Fridays or to read into Friday's action other than that it closed higher. We've basically killed the one-time framing down on a daily, and we're going to seek to retest the one-time framing down on the weekly. That's a 40.69. 40.69 is an important number to watch above. Remember, the overnight high is 40.42, so it's not that far away. If we get to 40.69 and breach, that puts the one-time framing down on the weekly in question. And again, that supports our push towards 4,200, as I mentioned earlier. So that's what we've got. The overnight session really opened pretty close to where it closed, and then it popped higher immediately to 40.42, and it sold off to the middle of Friday's range, and then we've been kind of climbing or grinding up since then. It's there isn't too much to talk about here in terms of performance. Here's the overnight session in a little bit more detail. We open, we pop higher, pretty. See those clouds, those big trades up there, the little blue shade there. This looks like a blow-off top to me. Immediately comes off lower high, and it sets up a very, very nice trade right here. Right when I was doing my homework, I saw that I missed this lower high. We're now below VWAP, below mid on the beginning of the session, and it's holding the breaks. It's breaking through. So now we have this little impulse with a consolidation, and it sets up the short break of 24.75 short. I talked about it in the Convergent Trading Head Trader channel last night. A break of 24.75 targeting 40.10 and 40.05 and 4,000. 40.05 and 4,000 right here, and of course right here. 4,000 being a key figure on Friday. You can see there's clear support resistance right in that 4,000 area right there. So that was a really outstanding R factor trade in the overnight session. That set up, we ended up pushing to the low and then of 39.8175, and then we put in a higher low with an impulse higher. And so now we're looking for the break of this the high at 97.75. We're looking for a break of that and a pullback, which showed up somewhere in here in this murky area. This was during the European Open, and then from there it's just been positive since then. So we've pulled back. So if you look so far, what we've done, we have, what are the pieces? Let's shift this over a little bit. So here's your overnight point of control, this red line or maroon line. There's your full session mid. There's your full session VWAP. I'm going to ask you, what is this saying about what to expect today? Okay, what are we expecting for today? Given the configuration, given where we're opening, given what we've done in the overnight session, having tested down almost to the afternoon swing low. We could not take the afternoon swing low. That's way down here. We've got a test of the high. We've tested above the high, so we've done the continuation, the job to continue, and we've pulled back. We've tested below, and so we've tested the high, we've tested the low. We're in the middle, on top of the overnight point of control, on top of full session mid, full session VWAP. Today, you just take your mouse and you just drop it. You just let go of it. And you just let the market do what it's got to do in the morning and save yourself a bunch of money. So exactly what the traders are posting in the YouTube chat, a live chat. This is a chop fest, very likely to be balanced, very likely to be two-way, very likely to be noisy this morning. I wish I could unplug my mouse. It's wireless. But this is the kind of morning where I'm going to sit, and it's the term I always use with my traders is it's got to sing to me. There's this is like Romeo and Juliet with the trader in the balcony in the market having to lure and sing to you and pull you out to trade. In other words, silly example, but this is the kind of day where you really need to be very clear about what it is you're going to trigger against, and to be very clear about what you need to see to execute, and to let the market really come to you, like really let it speak to you. Things have to be obvious for me to engage. That's the bottom line. And so today is probably quite scalpish. I'm expecting the volume not to be so fantastic. And we did have a pretty interesting profile in the overnight session with very clear low volume node, upper distribution, lower distribution. And now we have this funky ass kind of triple distribution type of profile here, with 02 and 20 basically as the cutoff points. And to me, as long as it remains in the middle here, see this 02 right here, look at this. This is boom, 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 boom. Like it's gotta really move away, come back, fail to retest, and then try to continue for me to get short for the overnight low stat as a first trade. If not, then it's got to really take back this this relatively large rotation. It's got to take all of this back, push through, no trade, pull back, no trade, hold, no trade, start moving the other way, no trade, pull back, and then put in a higher low, takes out that high. Now we've got something that says they're just not able to push it back towards the middle. So we're going to look for a long to take out the overnight high of 40.42. That's a setup, right? And in that case, if it takes out the high of 40.42, what's your big target? I said it earlier. Go on. What's the big target of the day if it takes out 40.42? Let's see if you were listening. Very important level up above. Right? I mentioned it earlier. It is your 40.69. Man, you guys are listening. You are listening. 40.69 becomes the big, big target. And then, of course, the longer the bigger picture is up in the 42.20 or so. But let's just talk about today. That's what we're looking for. So the overnight stat gets taken, the 40.42 gets taken, and I'm looking to buy pullbacks into 40.69. 40.69, once it gets up there, by the way, and let's take a look at this for a second. Well, maybe I can show you on the TPO here. So 40.69, where are you? Yep, 40.69. Let's take a look at it in here. So 40.69. So this is last week, right? Each box represents a week, and each change in color of the box represents a month. So here we are, you know, the weekly. Boom. One-time framing down established. Nice. Oh, broken on pause. One-time framing down established. Going well. Moving forward. And now if we challenge and take out this 4015 area, which is your MC point of control, and the big area that we were looking to test on Friday from below, which we got there. We closed at 4019 or settled at 4019 and some change. We're looking to challenge this 4069. If we do challenge the 4069, and it's not going to be easy because we have 4050 mid-century above. We have 4052 as a kind of an inflection area. 4050. If you look at the profile of 4050, it is just very ledgy. It's very blunt. A lot of trades went off at that price. And then we run into 4056. Those of you who get the master levels, you'll notice that this is listed as a key swing low. 4056 likely to present some issues here, brings us into the LVN, and then from there, once we take out the 69, it is likely to accelerate quite a bit. Once we take out the 69, we're likely to see a lot of short volume get squeezed. And so on. Look at the precision. Those of you who don't use volume profiling, look at the precision of that low, 38.55, right against the naked point of control and this very high volume node from way back, I mean, heck, a year ago or something. Really tested, got through the low volume node area, the low volume zone, got to the high volume node, and that held. And this is why we expected back in the middle of the low volume node, and then next is 4150. So 4069 gets taken out, 4118 gets tested, then we go to 4150 as this next big area to test. If we cannot take the 4150, then we start to look to rotate back down to through the 4100, 4050, and back to 4015, and so on and so forth, and back and forth, back and forth. We don't know what the market's going to do, and currently we have priced in the Fed taper, the inflation as it stands right now. We've got no earnings. We've priced in the earnings surprises that came through, and the main thing that remains is China. And of course, we also see the treasuries kind of starting to hold sideways. Markets is cooling off of the narrative on inflation. Anyway, this is what I had for you. What's expected for today? Let's take a look at what's expected for today here for a quick second. Just setting up the chart. Stock zones on, master levels on, and engaged. There we go. So what are we looking for today? All right, for today, we have this pretty hefty level above us right here, this magnet level, the 40-50-ish area, 40-53-50, that area. Expecting a lot of chop this morning, expecting it to just do a lot of that, expecting it to try to push lower. I'm looking for the first impulse. That's going to tell me a lot. And then looking for the squeeze to 40.42 on the overnight high. And I'm looking for a test of 40.50. So that's the big key here, 40.50. And then beyond there, we get to the 69. I'm not expecting the 69 today, although if you look at the pre-market summary sheet that I showed earlier, which is on Convergent Trading's Twitter stream, you'll notice that the range, the expected range is around 62.5 points. 62.5 points currently. So it's there's a lot of room from where we're testing, which is likely to be around the 4,000 or 39.95 to about 50. That's well within range today. The 69 is a little bit out of range today, but we have the rest of the week to take care of it. if we continue higher, which I don't see why not. Secondary open auction, it attempts higher, it's unable. We get an impulse down, pull back to the overnight point of control, giving us a trade against the overnight point of control, against mid and VWAP for 39.8175, which would be pretty awesome. And then it brings us back into range of Friday's trading. I expect this to really be another higher low day, so I'm not looking for Friday's low to be taken out. But who knows? The market will do what it does. We are back in balance. Please don't overcommit to your trades. Be smart and take your stops when they show up, okay? I want to make sure you all know that I will be traveling later this week and next week. I will do my best to keep the Trader Bite going in the morning, but I am flying up to Canada to see my parents and family, and I just want to enjoy my time while I'm there. I haven't seen them in a long time. So I will catch you guys, Convergent Traders. I'll catch you in the chat room. Everybody else, I'll catch you in tomorrow's Trader Bite. Good luck.